Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Center. We're going to take a quick look at SPY on multiple time frames and just do a little maintenance on the 65 and where we think price action might go. There are a couple of catalysts, I guess, coming up tomorrow. We have some semiconductor, Taiwan semiconductor in the morning. And so I suspect that the semis might get a little bounce tomorrow, helping the Qs get up to a retracement. And we'll show you that. Also, Netflix is after, and I think that will be a disaster. Okay, so you see where my mind's at. It doesn't have to. It will be the only thing up going into Friday, and everything else will be down. So, I'm not playing the earnings, but I'm just kind of suspecting what some catalysts could be. So, and if Netflix is negative, a little pop from the semis, but if the Netflix is negative, that could influence the rest of the tech market to continue to the downside. Okay, so we're doing this video intraday, about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're interested in getting these videos intraday, consider becoming a supporter. It's 99 cents. It's a membership on YouTube and also individual analysis. So let's jump into it, you guys. And don't forget to subscribe and like. We have SPY on the monthly time frame. We're looking at the 2000 top, 21 top, and 24 top forming right now. We have negative divergence. We're going to zoom through. If you want more detailed information, the last 2 videos gave that. We got our reversal, and now we're looking for mainly downside targets and whatnot. So I will admit the market is still in a positive stance, but how can you ignore this trend line? We're reversing off of it. We're getting a doji so far, a possible reversal doji, and we'll see if the market kind of gets stuck in this candle all week, and then we continue the downside next week, or if this just continues to drop and maybe we engulf last week. That's still a possibility. So don't get too complacent, and we'll look at that on the 65. Okay, so let's go ahead and we hit our targets on the high time frames. We hit our targets a long time ago on the 162, and right now we have this time and price relationship this week here, and we're going to remove that now. Okay, and now I set up a new one where we have other clusters coming into the future. So that will give us some hints on what's happening next. We have 12.29, so the end of December. Maybe this is just a projection. I don't know if price is going to get there or lower or whatever, but where price ends up into the 29th, we'll be looking for some sort of trade or take off positions and such. Okay. So we have a lot of our swings that are way out to January because of these type of situations. We want to engulf a lot of the plays. Now that changes. I adjust my trades every single day. Okay, including today, we took some. We alerted members that we're taking some call hedges. And I just did it in TQQQ just so we could cover a little bit of the bounce, and we'll show you what kind of structure we think we're forming. So let's go down to the daily real quick. On the daily, we had this bearish rising wedge, broke down, back tested, and made a new wedge heading up to new highs, which also hit the top of the potential channel here. So we'll be looking to test this bottom of this channel in the future. Don't you worry. All right. But in the meantime, we want to see if this bearish wedge breaks down. So we talk about the 580. That's an important part. That's where we expected price to reverse. We got above it. Now it's going to be bullish if we hold above it. We're still above the 8 EMA. So could this go get a new high? Absolutely. Do I think that we're going to get higher than that? No, I don't at all. It's possible that we hit our target at 599. Sure. I mean, maybe if, the earnings perhaps are just mega bullish, then yeah, let's ride it up. But I'm looking for the reversal. I think we got it, and I think we're back testing now. We're getting retracements. But I don't blame you if you remain bullish. Wouldn't blame me at all. Now, looking at our time and price relationships, We came into one here, and so I took it off, but now we're holding this once resistance, now support. I do suspect that we start to reverse, and going into the 23rd, 24th, that's looking like next week. I do believe we're going to have some sort of reversal. We'll probably see some lower prices into this time relationship, but if things get really bullish with these earnings and go up more, even though there's negative divergence on every single chart, then we'll be looking for a reversal to the downside going into these price areas. So time relationships don't tell us where price is going, but when we get there, we'll be looking for certain conditions to be there and looking for a trade off of it. 65 minute. First, start off with our traditional technical analysis. You can see this bearish rising wedge here. We hit the top of it. Again, right over our, we thought we would have reversed right here. We're holding above it so far. And that's why I think we're just getting our reaction off of here, okay? So I didn't think it would just rip right through. If it did, hey, very bearish. And then we have our sell signal. We don't quite have our sell signal on this chart, but we did get it on QQQ. Let's go over to the other board. So I do suspect we'll break this, and possibly even this week. Thursday has a tendency to be somewhat bullish with the, so we could see some wacky Wednesday here, but I think that Thursday could just be a little bit of bullish. Now, if price hits our targets, we're not going to wait for Thursday to happen. It's just a tendency, tailwind and headwinds, that we're looking at. And then Friday, depending on what that is, which I suspect will be very bearish, we'll look for the continuation on Monday. So here's in the micro term, here's what's happening. We hit our support here, and you see we're bear flagging up here, and we hit the 50%. So I'm actually, as soon as we get off of this video, I'm going to go ahead and re-establish SPY lower time frames, not lower time frames, but so we have our swings out to January, but we're going to put some on into next week and the week after, going into this 50-60% retracement. So we do have a time relationship here today on the 16th. So is that something we should be looking out for? Yeah, maybe we reverse today. Maybe we just hold up above here and then we gap down tomorrow. That's a possibility. So just want to give you possibilities, and let's see here. So this is could be a 1-2 setup into our golden ratio. Could it get all the way up to 786? Absolutely, especially if tomorrow the semis are kind of helping push, which leads me to believe if the semis are kind of bullish, I think a rotation out of the small caps might start to happen. So all these things, but I ultimately think we're going down. So I'm not trying to play exactly what's taking the market up and what's taking it down specifically, except for tech. I know that tech eventually is going to lead to the downside. Let's go over to the Qs. So the Qs, even on the daily, you can see we're fighting with the, we can go up there real quick. We're fighting with the 8 EMA. So we got our bearish move, got just a little bit of a move here. Now we're getting a reversal candle. This is a momentum indicator. We're fighting with the 8 EMA. We could easily spike through it and cause a wick, or tomorrow get above it and cause a wick, midday reversal. Any of those things could happen because we're not getting a very deep retracement. We don't have to, but typically things are somewhat like this, 1, 2, or even 3 days of correction. We don't have any of that yet, but it doesn't have to. This could just be a pause day and we get a continuation to the downside, especially when you have catalysts going on here. So, all right. And we're underneath our target. We got above, had a fake break, and that's why we're so bearish. And it looks right to me that we come back to the 50-60%, which was where that breakout happened. So that could be a back test. That would be a normal wave 2. So this is going to be a 1, impulse 1, 2, and we'll look for wave 3, and we can measure that out. If I'll do a theoretical just so you can see if price does do what I'm talking about, and we take the length of wave 1 and then we retrace to, let's say, the 62%. It could be the 50. Let's say the 62. Then we'll be looking for that little thicker line there, and also the 200 moving average, and that'll be about 476. So that would be a good target there if price even goes up there. Now, this is a possibility that we don't have positive divergence or anything. So what if this is simply a wave 4 price action and we have our wave 5 continuation? Maybe it just ekes out a new low here and then retraces. So all these possibilities can happen, but the main thing is that we're short the market in the long run, and we're just hedging in the very micro term. You don't really even need to do that. I just happen to be in front of the screen often, so I can manage these micro type hedges. And if the market moves down on me, you better believe we're still profiting. So if it moves up, then it's going to add some bank to our near term pocket, and we can add on to our swings. Our later dated swings, okay? Those are my strategies. That's what I do. I like to have long-term swings, and then I like to trade in and out of things in between. IWM, so it's possible that, IWM right now is pushing up, and it could get new highs. It could tag the highs that I have been explaining to you. So we're at the 786. We could reverse off of here. It's as simple as that. This very well could just be a lower high, very deep retracement, and reverse off of here. And that's what I was talking about. So if the semis are kind of strong and this starts to break down, then you better believe there's some rotation. And then after, it's likely that the tech market will maybe get Netflix bad earnings on Netflix or whatever the case is they don't like, and then tech will follow again and start leading. Okay, so why do we say that? What's more evidence? You have IWM, you have negative divergence. You have negative divergence here. Let me go on the 65. I think I might have marked it down. So you have that positive there. We got the positive divergence, but overall, we had our high here, and we're getting a lower high. Okay, and then we have in the near term right now that could easily trigger a sell tomorrow, or even as late as later today in the close. But I think more likely tomorrow. We have our high here. Price went higher. RSI went lower. It's getting weaker. Okay, so that gives me a clue that small caps could be done with its move with a lower high here. And I showed you yesterday what it looks like if for some reason it just continues to go up. And then our wave 5, the next spot, you have to get above and hold above 226 to get to the 235. We're not playing IWM. I did put a lotto on IWM. I was out of that, and we have one little contract going into next week at the end of the week. So that tells you how confident that, this could break out. That shows you how confident I am in this move, but I am very confident that the Qs are going to continue to the downside. Now, the semis, here's why I talk about the semis. So could we make a new high? Absolutely. We're already tagging the options expected move. It's not very typical from one end to the other to get that, but if Taiwan TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors, seems to get some sort of boost, and we'll get just an average retracement, in my opinion, and maybe some NVIDIA, since we're probably going to short that in just a couple minutes. And Taiwan Semi, maybe some of the semis are holding this up for a weak bounce, and NVIDIA's to the downside. I'm giving you all these what ifs, but this is how I think when I'm putting my trades on, especially individual names. And I will tell you that when the market's heading lower, I typically, my positions are majority in indices. Okay. I don't like to play around with a lot of the rip your face off rallies and stuff like that happen with the individual names. They can harm, but I don't mind dabbling in them when markets are going up. Okay, so anyway, might get a weak bounce here, and what else? So if we get that bounce here, that would be a typical retracement, and then head lower, where you again have the 1, 2, wave 3, 4, and 5, maybe even going all the way down here to this trend line. And VIX, and I'll get this out to you. So the VIX is doing exactly what we want to. We had a breakout, we're flagging, broke out of the flag, and now we're just back testing. That's as simple as that. Now, if for some reason it goes to close this gap, then the market's going higher, and it's probably getting new all-time highs. So I don't suspect that. I think it's just back testing this flag and really setting up. I mean, we have all sorts of setups. We could say it's a 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and then a micro 1 2 there. So this thing can rip, okay, eventually. But I'm not saying it's going to do it tomorrow, all in one move. But this structure is very bullish, and that's what I got for you guys. All right, thanks for joining us here at Option Center. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow.